After almost 6 months of living full-time in our Grand Design Solitude, we're finally going to take you around our home.
Welcome back to Miller's in Motion. And if you're new around here, I'm Lauren.
I'm Ryan.
And this is our home. It's a 2022 Grand Design Solitude. It's the 390RK model. And we actually travel around. We go to some horse shows and a lot of just new adventures. And we are so excited to take you along with us. So if you like what you see, we hope you subscribe and stick around.
Now my wheels in motion and my windows open with the wind blowing in my hair. I'm driving down the highway, gonna do this my way. I can feel it in the air. Here I go.
All right, well, we are going to start by showing you everything that we use on the outside. But first, by the power of magic, we're going to get all these bays open. All right, now that we got all the bays open up, let's go ahead and dive into these a little bit. So, first of all, one of the biggest reasons why we actually picked this rig is because of this huge front bay. So storage was a big concern of ours, moving from the ranch into an RV. So this huge front bay storage is a big help. Also, shout out to all the guys that are on our little social media bay door here. Anybody that we meet on the road, we're sticking their stickers up there. So check any of those guys out. As far as in this big storage bay, you can see it's kind of open. A lot of the stuff that's out in our campsite right now actually comes in here for when we're in transit. One of the things I added by More Ride is actually a TV tray. One of the things I like to do is watch football games and all that kind of stuff. And so we had a tripod originally from an old TV from the house, but having it on this slide out tray just makes it easier, a little more accessible. Also, when I wired it, I actually wired the electronics and the satellite hookup to run, or the cable hookup to run across and down, so it was all on this side. And this has been absolutely phenomenal. It's been too hot to enjoy it, but so far we've been really happy with that. In addition, down here, we have our battery charger for our drills and stuff. We're getting ready to leave, so I'm kind of taking care of a few things. Also, this Lasco fan, I used it to teach golf. It's just nice to have out here and move some air around. It really moves the air, which is great. Also, and it's hard to see from where you guys are, but the removable wall portion, normally those are just screwed in from Grand Design. I actually took those screws out because we had to get back there for a water leak, and I added some latches and a hinge system so we can access that area a lot faster. So, moving on, we do have the dog's water out here just as kind of something handy for us. They slurp and get water everywhere, so outside's better for them. One of the first additions we made was the keyless entry from RV Lock, just for some added security, as well as the ability to kind of go on walks, lock very easily, and not necessarily have to have our keys. So normally, near the back of the rig, we would have a grill set up and a folding table, kind of like an outdoor kitchen setup. We were actually getting ready to move, like I said earlier, so it's all kind of packed away, so you're seeing it fully packed. That table I was talking about actually sits right here flat. I have these dry bags that I keep because our grill is actually a pellet grill. So all of our barbecue, cooking, smoking utensils and stuff are right here, along with extra linens, cleaning supplies, just all kinds of stuff, Swiffer, broom, extra dog stuff. And then we are moving on to the rear storage. This tray has been a lifesaver. So, but as we pull it out, again, this is more of our kind of transit mode. So we always keep our luggage in here. That's a big deal for us because I do fly still pretty frequently. Also, my golf stuff is in here in this travel bag. And then just an extra bin. If you ever see me in the cowboy hats, those actually aren't stored upstairs. They're stored in these little guys down here. And then on top of that, we have a little stool for inside. And this thing has been super handy. So this is a expandable ladder and it goes up to 12 feet or 15 feet, sorry. So I can actually get up to the roof via this, just a clean slides off. And then my pride and joy, my Camp Chef Pursuit 20 pellet grill. This is in its stored position. Normally we put a strap over it just to kind of hold it down. But this has kind of been the staple, and you're gonna see this guy a little more potentially here pretty soon. So moving on to the service side. And if you hear an AC or a wounded duck, I'm sorry. I'm gonna do my best to take that audio out. Service side, I like to call the non-sexy side. So behind this bay is just all of our storage for our sewer lines, water, all that kind of stuff. This is our electrical bin, just a little more water. So there's actually a cord reel here that we've actually come in pretty handy with. In addition, this exit valve here is actually our galley gray water tank only. So its release valve is actually back here. Now, this guy has been a lifesaver. So this is the Power Watchdog. It's essentially an EPO, or a surge guard. It is Bluetooth, so I can actually see what both lines are doing. I can see everything we're bringing in. On top of that, it's one of the only units that will actually, if we do catch a surge from a pedestal, there's a piece you can remove and insert it, so you don't have to replace the whole thing. Typically when a surge guard goes off, you have to toss it and just buy another one. So also, our water connections, I have a Y, a quick adapter, a Camco water regulator, and then I put a large particle RV water filter in our water systems. So moving a little more forward on the service side, typical RV furnace, we actually have the 12-gallon DSI propane electric water heater. I actually really like this thing. I was nervous about it. A lot of people said you should definitely go tankless. To be honest, to have that ability to go propane or electric has been really handy. Laura and I have taken some pretty decently long showers and we have not run out of hot water yet. So into our wet bay, pretty basic Nautilus system. I know a lot of people have been complaining about it. We've loved it. Makes it super easy to kind of use everything. You really don't have to have a lot of information about it except for do what that color code is and you're good. Also, in the whole house filtration system, so I actually upgraded the filter that's in there to a 0.05 carbon filter. I think I got that right. If I got it wrong, I'll put it on the screen. So the inline water filter takes all the big particles out. This actually does a better job of getting the microbial stuff. So we're trying to put a series water system together without buying a really big expensive system. So, but been super happy with the filter there. And then just the other side of our storage, just a few things we use. Obviously we have our, Wisconsin Badger and Green Bay Packer themed chairs, Lawrence plain blue chair. We have a Lippert outdoor area rug just for when it's a little dustier or we have a little more room. We actually keep Klondike's ramp to get into the rig right here as well. Just a few other kind of odds and ends. And then it's all service stuff. So we have our Camco leveling blocks. We have 2 sets of those, which came in really, really handy in New Braunfels. And also I always keep a few of these on hand. So I use them for storage, so extra hose. And then our X-Chocks are in the other one. But this comes in super handy. You never know when you're gonna need a bucket for something. And so nice and cheap guy, but works good. And then our controller for our auto level. I've heard people kind of talking about the electronic auto level having issues with it. This one I've loved. We only ever got one error and we cleared it pretty easily. All you do is power it off, bring all the jacks down and put it back up, and it worked perfectly fine. So I've absolutely loved having the auto leveler. Makes life very easy. All right, so coming around to the front cap, one of the upgrades on the new Solitudes is they're putting the MORride rubber pin box up front. Absolutely love that. It's 3 inches of rubber inside that'll it'll help eliminate a lot of the chucking as you go through. Coming from the cap, you'll actually see these little guys around. So we have a whole video on these, but this is the Ring security system in conjunction with the Ring stick-up cameras. So the great thing about this is nobody wants to drill into the side of the outside of their RV. So we actually just have the plates fastened on by essentially that 3M tape. And when we're in transit, we pop them off. And when we're back, we just stick them on there. And it just gives us some peace of mind, especially if I'm traveling and Lauren's back. Coming around to the front, we have our outdoor speakers that I'm pretty sure we've never actually used. Pretty sure my little JBL works better. Probably one of the most underestimated things that we've got that we've liked and enjoyed the most, and these flat out saved our butts in Gulfport for about 2 or 3 nights, are these RV snap pads. Just that hard rubber, they're permanently affixed. You can take them off, they're just not gonna come off on their own, or they shouldn't. So gives you a little bit more surface area, a little bit more of a gripping power, because otherwise you just have that plain metal plate down there. And when you're overextended in a spot you don't wanna be in, they come in very, very handy from keeping you from sliding down. Last but not least is our forward propane bay. You can see the rest of the leveler there. 2 30-gallon tanks, regulators on both sides, switches on the other side. We did add a gas stop to this just for a little peace of mind and protection. We kind of know where we sit at all times. In addition to that, if you own any of the Grand Designs that have a hydraulic system for the slides, which we do in our living room, the controls, most people, they go out at the exact same time. There's actually valves in here that you can turn on and off. So we got a label maker out and essentially put what they are And then we put campside service side. So if we're ever in a RV rest stop or something and we need to get in to make some lunch to get to our kitchen, we'd have to open up one of the slides, but there's no point in opening both. So we would actually put one in, just let one of the slides come out, and then that way when we're in transit we can make a quick snack or something. So that is gonna just about do it for the outside of the rig. It's hot here in Texas, so Lauren and I are gonna switch places and she's gonna take you through all the fun inside.
All right, welcome inside, out from all that heat going on out there. And now that he's taken you through the outside, let me show you through the inside. And I'm sure the dogs will help us today, so sorry, that's just life in here. All right, starting in here, the pantry was one of the big reasons we loved this rig. We haven't really done much in here, but it's still been really useful. We put this non-slip in here, and that's keeps everything from really moving around. And we have a couple of these bigger plastic containers that really help us as well. And it's lit too. Ooh, ah. I understand that in the new year upgrade, they actually went to only 3 drawers. I love having 4, and that's also been helpful to us as well. These are pretty sturdy, and so we like that. We haven't really had any issues with those, as long as you secure them when you move. And to secure ours whenever we're moving, we have some tension rods and we just align them up and down. Keeps all the drawers from sliding out while we're going. All right, moving on over here. We have these 2 smaller cabinets. We have like recipe books, some cutting boards, and some cookie cooling racks in there. Very important things, as you know. And then down below, we have this drawer, some cookie sheets, pizza pans, that sort of thing. Residential oven, which has come in so handy, and you're going to get a glimpse of that moving forward. A little foreshadowing there. As far as the fridge goes, this is another place we didn't really do a whole lot of upgrade necessarily, but this is the residential fridge, complete with the all-important ice maker. And I just realized you probably can't see that from that angle, but it's there, I promise. All right. Coming around here, this is really important for us because we have the dog stuff up here with some of their medicines and food bowls and things. And then this was one thing that went in first. We bought these off of Amazon, and they came with the cans and everything, and we keep our dog food in there. And again, a tension rod keeps those from sliding around when we're in motion as well. Down here, cleaning supplies, a couple of bins keep everything from moving around too much, keeps it nice and organized, and that's been very efficient for what we need. We keep extras down below in the basement. Okay. All right, moving on. Up here, this we did do a little bit too. Our fancy china right here. We debated on this for a long time if we wanted to get, you know, disposable or protect our plates, what we wanted to do. And this was the easiest option until we got settled in. And then after that, we were like, well, we'll just stick with that. It's working pretty well. And then we keep cups in here, and this basket we had in the house for a different purpose. This keeps everything organized for us too. All right, through here we have our we have our dog. She's not part of what we installed. Anyways, silverware, we actually do use some real silverware, not everything's disposable. And then cooking utensils, scissors, all the usual things that you might need there. All right, coffee, very important coffee storage. We don't drink the same coffee, so we got a coffee divider so that it stores all of our caffeine and it keeps everybody happy. This was a cheap buy at Container Store, keeps all like your baggies and foils and everything organized. And then extra paper towels down below. All right, moving on. Microwave, you know what that is. Coffee maker, very important, but still. Mishka, come, go, good girl. All right, and then in here, this is gonna be kind of hard to see, but this is our pots and pans. And so, yeah, we got everything that we needed in there, and kind of minimalistic, but we really get the job done, and we're happy with the space so far. All right, and then the island. Everybody comes in and sees the island, and they love it, we love it. This has some of our appliances in there, and then in the bottom of that is like Tupperware type storage and a few foil pans that we use out on the grill. Very happy to have this, and the little tower of power. All right, and then up here, as we talked about in our RV search, it was really important to us to have a dedicated dining and office space. The drops for the cables here have been very useful. There's outlets and power on both sides. Under here is where we installed the Waggle, and if you're not familiar with that, it's a temperature monitoring device and it's on the Wi-Fi. We leave ours plugged in and it will let us know if the temperature gets too high, too low, or if the power goes off, so we can always keep an eye on the climate here with the dogs even when we're not around. And it's out of the way, nobody sees it. It's peace of mind for us and we're happy to have it. All right, so something that we use every day, but we still don't entirely understand the design of it, is this shoe storage under the stairs. You can kind of see down here a little bit. This is really the only place that there's shoe storage in the stairs like that. Everything else is closed off. And the fact that it's on the opposite side of the living room from the door, a little cumbersome, but it gets the job done and still hides our dirty camping shoes. As far as the living room goes, I think some of the biggest things that we have for you are to utilize your space. So underneath the trifold couches here, there's storage. You can store extra sheets. We store Reflectix, a couple of things like that. And then up here, we got some of these baskets from Target. These wicker baskets are from Container Store. They were actually in the house and we just brought them over. And then we ordered on Amazon these little wooden stands so that we could separate and actually like double our space, because otherwise you would put a basket here and nothing above it. And speaking of using all of your space, what they don't tell you is that behind this wall is a void, and I think we measured it at like 12, 14 inches, something like that. And it provided us the opportunity to drop down for the internet. So check out that video if you want more detail, but there's power under here, and this was the hub for all that internet resource.
All right, I'm going to take over real quick for Lauren just because we're getting kind of a technical space and I installed a lot of the stuff. So right here we have 4 kind of built-in cabinets and Mishka, who just wants to be in the video. So I'm going to start with the least sexy of them, this top one. So in this top cabinet is really just a blank area up top, and then we have our command center. Pretty basic Grand Design command center. You've got your controls for everything. You can see how much fresh water, black tank, gray tank, all that stuff. Sensors really don't work, to be honest with you. Control your water heater, all your slide mechanisms, everything. Little tip, we labeled all of our slides just so that we knew, because we have 5 in this. And sometimes you forget which one is the microwave, which one's the oven side. And like we talked about outside, sometimes in this living room, we only want the slide that you guys are actually in right now to go out, and then the oven slide so we could just get to the kitchen, use the fridge, and get back on the road. So we labeled everything just like we did out in that bay. Up top here is kind of a hodgepodge of stuff. It's all kinds of fun stuff like Tide cleaners for the washing machine. Why they're in here, I don't know. We actually keep a floor mat for where I'm standing right now, so if it's a little dusty, a little rainy, anything, we toss that down. It helps collect stuff off the dog's paws so they don't track stuff in quite as bad. Our manuals for the rig, everything else. Also, the ring system that we have installed is actually, our base station is up here as well, and it's actually mounted to the wall. Lauren was just talking about the void behind this area as well. So instead of having to run power up to it, there's actually power down here. So I was able to just put a little simple hole and drop the power right there so it stays plugged in. So just like the Waggle, if we lose power, this will actually notify us as well. So we kind of have a redundancy in that system. And then moving down, this is about where Lauren should probably take over again. So this is our Lippert LCI 1 control. This is a really just kind of touchscreen system. It's essentially the fancy version of this. To be completely honest with you, we don't use it. I use it on my phone, which you can scan these QR codes and stuff and use it, but I really use this more times than anything else. Beneath the LCI control, you have our 110 breakers. At the very, very bottom, you have the rest of our 110 plus all of our 12-volt electrical systems. And then we have converted this whole area into Dog Central, being right by the door. So leashes are here, treats. We keep the poo bags in a little holder, as well as just an extra towel in case they get a little muddy or anything outside. Now, talking about that ring base station, we're going to flip to this very narrow side. It doesn't help that, good? It doesn't help that I make this look even more narrow. Lauren was in here to do that more space. But so on the door, right next to it, we have our ring keypad, and just to simplicity, I'll just show you because it pops off. So it's battery powered. So this is what we know whenever we set if we're in home, if we're disarmed, home, or away mode, and it tells us what's armed and what's not. And then we have periodically through the rest of the rig. Let's see if Ryan can get this in. There we go. We have contact sensors on doors and windows and things that we felt we needed, and that helps with that's essentially the alarm system itself. We do have a central vac system. I don't know if you want to talk about that. You want me to? It's down there. We don't use it. And then, oh yeah. So these two are actually kind of like more clothes storage or a cloak closet. This door opens this way, so we're not going to look at it. It's Lauren's. Mine's down here because it's just a little bit deeper. So let me get out of the way. So this is where we kind of put things we don't use very often, plus all of our coats and things. So like I've got a puffy jacket, some sweatshirts. I have a problem with pullovers. So all my pullovers are in there. And then when we left the house, I grabbed a couple of extra hangers just in case. And I don't use them very often, so I throw them in there. Winter, we're in these a lot. Right now, I don't think I've opened this cabinet in like 3 months because it's been 120 down here in Texas. And I just closed my jacket in the door. So that's the electrical systems.
All right, so one of the things that we did install that I don't think we intended to install from the get-go was this Reflectix, but as we are setting records for heat here in North Texas this summer, we decided it was a necessity. So we do have this in a lot of the windows. This is just one that we couldn't hide as well as the rest, and when we're done with it and the weather's better, we just store them under the sofas. Welcome to the small bathroom. So we're gonna make do here. For us, there was a big concern coming from a house with multiple bathrooms into one shared room. So this has involved a little bit more of Tetris, if you will. So in here, he'll show you a little bit of what's behind these. If I open them, you just can't see. We have some extra cleaning supplies dedicated for the bathroom up there, and like spare hand towels, things like that. Our bath towels, and then most of this is medicine cabinet, sunscreens, bug sprays, that sort of personal health kind of stuff. All right, into the shower we go. So I'm 5'7" for reference, plenty of room in here. We did switch out this shower head here for this Oxygenics, which helps save water if we are in a boondocking situation. These storage things that came with the rig, we've been very happy with. No qualm necessarily with those. And we keep some cleaning supplies in here, and that way whenever we're done, we just hose everything off, spray it down, and it's clean. Up here, we did install some little command hooks to hold those. If you're still washing with loofahs and washcloths, you are missing out. These are small, they dry really fast, and they don't hold bacteria the way those other things do. And then over here, we mounted a little squeegee. So you spray the door down, you get all your condensation off, and these have stayed pretty clean. We get a lot of people that don't like the glass shower doors. Ryan likes them because he doesn't like the shower curtains. He says they touch him, they clean. And so he really actually much prefers those. And then I really like this seat. So that's come in very handy. All right, and then y'all come down here with me. Because of my long hair, one thing we had to do right away was to install this hair catcher here in the drain to make sure we didn't get too much of my hair down to clog up the pipes. And you ordered this off of Amazon, I think, and it's been fantastic. We went through a couple of others that didn't work very well, but we'll link this one below in case you're interested in it because it's done really great.
Yeah, that one, it kind of gets water to pool up around the base of it, but it creates like a tornado suction thing.
Yeah.
So once it gets going, it works great, but it has been by far the best one I've ever found.
For sure.
And also, if you want to pop out of there, I'm going to hand you this.
All right. Oof.
So Lauren told you her height. So I'm 6'2", 275, 80 pounds. And a big deal for me on the shower when we picked it, and now that we've lived with it, I would pick this floor plan again 1,000 times over. But as a whole, these Encore showers from Grand Design, it's one of the few that instead of stepping up onto the platform, you're actually stepping down. So being 6'2", and I still have, 6 inches or so before I get to the roof, and then I still have the skylight. So the fact that I'm 6'2" and I can fit in here, and to be honest, I feel as comfortable as I ever have at our residential or our house shower as I do in here. In fact, I actually like this one better, to be honest with you. So just frame of reference being that I'm a little taller.
All right, so moving out of the shower onto my medicine cabinet here, just because it's easier to reach than Ryan's. So as far as storage goes, you may have to get creative. This is a pencil case, and we use it to store extra toothbrushes. This was just a little wooden storage thing that we found at an office supply store, I think. But it was tall enough that it keeps the deodorants from like sliding around and falling out. This was a jewelry case that I found on Amazon, and it took me from my big, you know, mirrored jewelry cabinet to that. And then this, I think, was a Container Store Target find as well. And it just keeps some of these odds and ends from rolling around when we're going down the road. Oh yeah. And then back here, I'm not sure, he may have to zoom in, is a magnet. And if you have not installed a magnet somewhere in your rig to attach things, you are missing out on that fun. So I put, you know, bobby pins, barrettes, you can put scissors and tweezers, all kinds of good stuff back there. And there are some makeup brushes that actually have a metal part on the handle, and you can even put some of those back there. Okay. All right, something just worth mentioning for anybody wondering, this did come with the rig, and so we didn't install that, but obviously it's been put to very good use. A couple of easy things that we did were these little hooks for our face towels, and that way it keeps them up off the counter, and that was really easy to do.
Command strips for the win.
Command strips always for the win. And same idea with this, again, ordered it off of Amazon. It's either 3M or Command Strip, and that's what we use for the toilet paper. That's kind of a debate I found with this floor plan, is people don't know where to put the toilet paper holder. We chose to go up and down because it can't fall off. It shouldn't fall off when we're going down the road.
It better not fall off.
It better not fall off.
We have a bigger problem if that pops off than the toilet paper coming off.
Yes. And then because Ryan doesn't really need as much space in the bathroom, we use his side for like extra toilet paper storage and some things like that. And then we have, you know, like floss and toothbrushes and some more of my makeup, my hair dryer and all that good stuff. And then just more storage over there. Again, you get creative with the kinds of baskets and plastic storage containers that you find along the way, and find what fits. One of the first things we did upon moving into the rig, even when it was still at the house, was we changed out all of the bedding for stuff that we were more comfortable with, that was more our taste, and we flipped out the mattress. And if you haven't done this yet, I highly recommend it. And if you have any doubts or questions, Brooklyn Bedding, they were phenomenal. Now, we're not sponsored or anything like that, so we're not going to go down that road. But we had a great customer service experience, and the mattress has been phenomenal. We are very happy with that. Under the bed, there's a lot of storage. Let's take a peek at that. The downside to flipping out the mattress is that it's heavier. But down there we have extra, like, big heavy duty kind of winter coats and all of our ski gear. And then we each got a storage tote which fit really nicely. Mine has more shoes in it, imagine that. What does yours have in it?
So I have a pair of cowboy boots, my hiking shoes, and extra, like, you know, business tote bag, computer bags.
I heard that you have 2 more pairs of shoes.
I do.
Yeah,
you also have a full of storage area shoes.
Been living with me too long. And then I keep like hats and scarves down here in this little cubby hole. This is just some shallow storage, and then he has some other office stuff back there. For all you ladies, let me show you this. This is not just an ottoman. This is an ottoman full of shoes. Isn't it wonderful? All right, so that wraps up all of that section. Let's move on to the closet. Not the biggest fan of the slider doors, but don't know what we would do in place of it. And I do really like having the full length mirror, so we'll just complain about it a little bit and then probably leave them the same. But in here, obviously we had most of our clothes, about half his, half mine. We both have more of these soft-sided baskets on either side, and so he'll put like hats in there, t-shirts, that sort of like soft goods that it's okay if they get a little not folded perfectly or not organized perfectly. And then something that Ryan purchased that I actually didn't, believe it or not, these hangers where you can store multiple pairs of like shorts or something like that. So that's been handy for him. And then down below, I'm gonna grab it so that you guys. More shoes. But we use these, these are like everyday shoes, keeps them organized from sliding around, and then they're not out in the open, and they're not just strewn about. All right, so that's about it for this closet space. Let's turn and look at this closet, which has one of the most important features of our home.
A squeaky door.
The squeaky door and the washer and dryer. That was important to us, and I think that we determined that RV life wouldn't really be much of a possibility for us on a full-time basis if we didn't have a way to keep on top of our clothes being clean, especially when he goes out of town. You know, we need to have a certain turnover. We need to be able to keep my riding clothes clean at shows. This has just been a lifesaver for us and is really important. We did go with the all-in-one. There was discussion of the separator, the washer, and the dryer, but for me, I wanted more clothes storage. And you know, I'll admit, yeah, it takes a little while, but we set it whenever we leave for work. We come home and the clothes are dry. It's no big deal for us, and this has worked out really nicely. And then this is just where we keep the laundry soap, so that's right here when we need it. And a box of powdered laundry soap is a little bit bigger than one of these. That's why there's two.
But to say, so you're going to ask why just buy a smaller box, and they do make them. The problem is we like the Tide with Downy in it,
Yeah.
and they only make that, at least I've only found it, in the bigger box.
Yeah.
And so it fills 2 of those to the brim.
That's right. So this is perfect for that box. And then behind it, we still have like our static release, wrinkle guard, clothes Febreze kind of stuff. And then a basket of tank tops in case you were interested. And that's where my belts go. Ryan's are stuck in the closet. Over here, we have our Dyson Animal Vacuum. It's cordless and it is fantastic. Now, kind of like the laundry, we vacuum pretty much every day just to stay on top of things, but this has been phenomenal for our space and for our use, especially with 3 big dogs. We can vouch for its durability.
If you are going to do this and install it like we did on a wall somewhere, for starters, make sure and use hollow wall anchors, which is what I did, and a crap ton of 3M tape. Also, or command strips.
Yeah.
Also, transit or move, I take it out of the holder and lay it on the bed
Yes,
so that it doesn't give it any more power to rip off of the wall.
absolutely. And then this is just our dehumidifier. We are not currently in a climate where we need this, but if we were at the beach and it were this warm, having this would be really important. And then during the winter, it's also going to be very important to keep from extra moisture and thus mold in our home.
So it's not a very big one, but we do like it because it's pretty quiet considering.
Yeah, it is.
It actually rained here for the first time in like 60 something days, and we needed it.
We needed it.
But this is the small one. We put it in here because the room that gets the most humid first, because of the washer and dryer, is the bedroom.
Yeah.
When the time is right or we need it, we will purchase another one for the living room and kitchen area.
Absolutely. And this one has an auto off if the reservoir gets full, and you can set this so that you can get your desired humidity level because you can actually over dry it as well. All right, the last that's in here is basically small clothes storage. So socks, undies, bras, that sort of things, da-dun-da-duns as you may call them. And we won't be opening those drawers. Sorry, guys.
All right, well, thank you for coming to check out our home. This wasn't a super technical video as far as what this rig is, its specs, its GVWR, tank sizes, all that.
Sure.
We actually did shoot that video about 6 months ago. Actually, it's one of our first videos. So if you are interested in all that, we actually did that tour with Hunter, our salesperson / Grand Design specialist at McLean's RV here in Fort Worth, Texas. You can check that video out. None of our stuff's in here for that one. So it's really raw. We wanted to be in it for a little while and actually use the things we thought we would use, because some stuff came in and didn't make the cut and it went back out.
Right.
And then we've added stuff to it.
Yeah.
So, but this is how we've been living in it for about 3-4 months, pretty much as is now, minus taking some stuff in and out at the very beginning. So thank you so much for coming to view our home. If you have questions, please feel free to ask them below. Also, one favor.
Oh no.
Subscribe. Do you know how many people watch our videos that are not subscribed?
I do not.
It's actually not a bad number for most of YouTube, but it's still high.
Okay.
87%.
Oh, wow.
So if you're part of that 87%, shame.
No shame. We'd love to have you. Subscribe, please.
So,
2 different approaches.
also, we do have a website. If you have more questions, Lauren's putting blog posts up, kind of destination guys, something else coming soon. So if you subscribe to the newsletter or anything through the website, you'll be the first to know about those things.
Couple things in the mix. Yes, we're happy, excited about this.
Yep. So, if you made it this far, congratulations. You get to see the one thing we do for our parents. That was the only people really watching it, so...
And they were.
Yeah, still pretty much are, but that's okay. But with that being said, we will see you next Sunday at 5. Until then,
Bye, Mom.